Hi, I'm Marsha, and this video is my contest entry into ProgHat's 1960s contest. Now, his goal with this contest was to reach 400 subscribers, and when I checked his channel this morning to get organized for this contest, I saw that he had far surpassed that goal already. I think he's at 450 subscribers. So congratulations, ProgHat. I'm sure this contest will continue to be fruitful for you. As well, when I checked his channel this morning, I saw that it was his birthday as he was doing a live stream in honor of his birthday. Today is Sunday, January 15th. So happy birthday, ProgHat. I wish you much happiness in the future as well as good health in the future. So under the 60s umbrella that he came up with, he has a couple of other topics, of course. Show 3 albums from the 60s, 3 songs from the 60s, an album from an artist you love from the 60s, and an album from 1968, as that was the year that he was born. So I love 60s music, just like everybody on the VC. I love 60s music. It's why I became a music geek when I was in high school, because all my friends were, listening to Whitesnake, and I was, jamming out to the Supremes. Sorry, David Coverdale, but I'm sure you would agree with me that the Supremes are awesome. So I had to put some parameters in place for this contest. No Beatles, no Dylan. And under the Dylan, the caveat of none of his songwriting either. So that did shrink my pool, but I still had, a lot of selections to choose from. So I decided, how about, an album and song from the early 60s? And, you guys are smart. I'm sure you know where this is going. An album and song from the mid-60s, album and song from the late 60s. So from 1960, the Everly Brothers. A Date with the Everly Brothers. It's like a greatest hits record. On side 1, you've got Made to Love, Side Cry, Almost Die, Always It's You. Side 2 starts off with Love Hurts. First time Love Hurts has been put out into the airwaves. Great cover of Lucille, Donna Donna, I Change a Heart, Kathy's Clown. This is the classic Everly Brothers sound. Great rhythm guitar work by Don. There's just so much good stuff contained in this album. And if you spend any time in a retirement community like I do, because that's where my parents live and I'm a good child and I go and visit them, you will hear something from this album within like the first 10 minutes of stepping foot into that place, especially if you go and have dinner at an Applebee's. From 1966, Breakout, Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. So this voice, this accent, a lot of people think it's from Minnesota. It's not. It is from Michigan, more specifically Metro Detroit. And when I was a kid growing up in the 70s and 80s in Metro Detroit, he was still a big deal. He was on TV a lot of local events. So, like it's the Thanksgiving Day Parade, Detroit Thanksgiving Parade. It's on TV. My mom's in the kitchen. She's, fixing the turkey. She hears Mitch Ryder's going to be on TV, and she pushes the table away so hard and fast. I'm surprised our turkey didn't end up in Toledo, but she runs out into the living room, parks herself in front of the TV, and then proceeds to do the pony for the next 8 minutes because Mitch Ryder is doing Devil with the Blue Dress and Jenny Take a Ride. This album is so infectious. The energy is infectious. I am sure this will cure what has ever got you sick. I think it's been scientifically proven to put you in a fantastic mood. Like, you cannot be in a bad mood after you listen to this album. He's a great frontman, of course, but this band is pretty spectacular too. There is a reason Bruce Springsteen and Chrissie Hynde cite this guy as a major influence on their music. From 1969, Stand, Sly and the Family Stone. Love this record, love this band. This was a name I heard a lot when I was a kid, but I wasn't familiar with their music because, they didn't play him on the oldies station. Racism. I stumbled upon them because I was going through the TV channels and hit upon PBS playing the Woodstock movie. And, it was pledge night, so I was up till like 8 o'clock in the morning, but it was worth it because I saw them doing stand and Want to Take You Higher, and I was just blown away, just mesmerized. You know, like Prince made a lot more sense to me after I saw that performance, and I just fell in love with them. And probably the next day bought about 4 used cassettes of their stuff, and you know, they instantaneously became one of my favorite bands. Like, they set me on the path of loving funk music. Well, I mean, I did love the Gap Band before that, but I didn't know where that came from. You know, if I had one little minor petty complaint about this album, I just wish they would have jammed a little bit longer on I Want to Take You Higher like they do in the movie. But again, that's petty. It's very minor of me to say such a thing. On to the songs. 1962, Sam Cooke, Bring It On Home to Me. Oh my God, so smooth, so soulful. He's lamenting about his lost lady. He's trying to get her back. He's got Lou Rawls on the background. I'm a lady. I would come back. Yes, I would. I bring it on home. All night long, all month long, actually. I would probably purposely leave him just so that he could sing that song to get me back. That's how good this song is. From 1966, The Left Bank with Walk Away Renee. Is this the prettiest Baroque pop song ever? Yes, it's the prettiest Baroque pop song ever. The strings, you know, the harpsichords done so well. I know the gentleman, the lead singer, the gentleman that wrote the song, his dad was also involved in classical music and did a lot of the string arrangements with him. And he was only 16 years old. I don't know which one of these he is. But I only realized a couple of years ago that they're from New York City. I just assumed they were from England. I've been listening to this song for as long as I can remember, and I just assumed it was an English band. But I love this song, even if you can't really tell what the lyrics are when they're singing. Doesn't matter. The melody is great, and again, the strings are perfect. From 1967, Mr. Soul, the lead-off track from Buffalo Springfield again. So good. Such a rocket tune. This song is so good. I like the version off of the Trans album, but we're not here to talk about the 80s. So I realized that the single version of Mr. Soul, the B-side of Bluebird, is different than the version on the album. And I definitely prefer the album version. It's got a lot more guitars. I wonder what would have happened if they had released that version as the single. I'm sure it's something that would probably be on classic rock radio every 45 minutes. I'm sure it's probably a song I would be sick of and annoyed with, and I'd say I never need to hear it again. But as is, I love this opening track, and you know, it just sets off the album so well. It's such a good album, and I have a fondness for opening album tracks. You know, I've read too much Nick Hornby, I think. But I do love this album, and I love Mr. Soul. An album from an artist you love. So I'm going back home. Gotta go to Detroit. Aretha arrives. I don't think I need to include her last name. This is her second album on the Atlantic label. And it's made up of primarily cutting room floor tracks from the I Never Loved a Man sessions. So it's not as critically well received as I Never Loved a Man, but it's still Aretha Franklin. It's still Muscle Shoals. Like, this is not bad. So I Never Loved a Man is like a 10. This is like a 9.5. And it closes with Baby I Love You. Like, it's still a phenomenal album. From 1968, my 1968 choice is the Byrds, the Notorious Byrd Brothers. And there's no Dylan on this, not at all. And there's no David Crosby on the cover, even though he does partake in this album. He says he's the horse. But Chris Hillman, I think it's Chris Hillman, has said if we wanted him to be represented by the horse on the album, we would have shown the horses behind, because, Crosby's a horse's ass. But this is a great album, and I was indifferent to it for far too long, and it's only been within the last couple of months I've been finding it on my turntable a lot. And I'm kind of embarrassed I ignored it for as long as I did. So those are my choices for ProgHat's contest. ProgHat, thank you so much for allowing me to participate, and everybody, thank you for watching.